Okay, what is the second shadow? Let's see here. What do you think was the second shadow?
Good question.
Do you think it was the body? That doesn't really make sense.
No, it doesn't. It wasn't anything in the script.
No.
So I feel like the second shadow has to be like Mr. Hat shaped, doesn't it?
Or at least kind of person-shaped.
Yeah. So I don't think it's a coffin.
No. It does say in the prank that after capturing a bit of Truce's reaction on film, Mr. Rios was supposed to come back to life and fly up into the air.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
means,
yeah,
so I
yeah.
think it was the corpse. You think? Like maybe he was already wired?
Yeah. But how did he get behind the scrim or whatever?
The what?
The curtain.
What?
The curtain. How'd he get behind the curtain?
I don't think he was behind the curtain.
But it was like a shadow that flew up.
I think it was just because his corpse flew up and then it was just the lighting made his shadow go onto the curtain behind.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Okay, then yes.
So you think present the script?
Yeah.
If we consider what was happening on the stage at the time, there's only one answer. The shadow belonged to the fake Mr. Rios. In other words, Mr. Man of Mystery. Oh yeah, it did say his real name was Mystery.
Mm-hmm. The victim?
Please take a look at the prank plan script. Mr. Mystery was supposed to pretend to be dead, and then fly up into the air after that. Isn't that right, Mr. Reddens?
Indeed. And what of it?
I contend that that's exactly what happened. The victim was wearing a stunt harness around his waist. It was most likely attached to stunt wire, so that he could be pulled up into the air.
So you're suggesting that, after pretending to be dead in the outfit, coffin, the victim flew up into the air, just as the prank script says?
Exactly. We just couldn't see him go flying up because the dragon was blocking our view. And that last trick, ladies and gentlemen, is the true pièce de résistance of the culprit's murderous magic show. How'd you make your sweater big?
Don't tell me you've got it all figured out.
Yes, I think so. If we can just look beyond Mr. Rettens' last bit of misdirection, we should finally be able to see the real truth. The victim must have been pulled up to the catwalk, just like Mr. Hat, and hit the cushioning up there with considerable force. I just have to figure out what else happened up there at that time. Didn't something weird happen with Mr. Hat? Like, he was caught up there or something?
Yeah. Are you ready to elaborate, Mr. Justice?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm ready.
If that is the case, please answer me this. Why did the culprit make the victim fly up in the air like that?
To falsify an alibi, to murder him, or to hide the body.
Okay, well, it's not the first one. Mm-hmm. Or it could be, but probably not. I don't know.
But why would he want to hide the body? It was already in plain sight. Like, it's not like they weren't... Also, did no one notice, like, when they did the autopsy? They had to get the body for the autopsy.
Well, yeah, I figured he came back down, right? Like, my weird idea is that, like, he planted, like, a spike in the ceiling.
Oh.
And that's why he got jammed in the back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because that's also where the wire is.
Yeah. That's why, like, Mr. Hat would have gotten caught.
Right, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I guess to murder him?
To moida him. Just why did the culprit have the victim fly up after he appeared in the coffin? And how did the victim actually die? So, also that means he was still alive when he got yanked back up. And,
Right.
well, he just, like, didn't say anything.
Well, there was a dragon all fell down. Everybody was
Yeah.
going crazy.
Right.
Misdirection.
True. When he was only pretending to be dead in the coffin. If we can figure out how these two questions relate, the answer should become clear. Could it be? Mr. Mystery... Oh. Mr. Mystery must have thought he was still part of the prank when he appeared on stage. He probably didn't suspect a thing as he was being pulled into the air. After Miss Bright was called backstage, and just as the set piece fell. But the culprit had already planted the real murder weapon in the cushion in the catwalk. It was probably a knife or blade of some sort.
What? You mean...
Yes, it really was a magical murder. Just as the prank script said, Mr. Mystery was whisked up into the air. And straight into a blade, there in the catwalk. In other words, this murder was committed remotely through the use of a magic trick.
What?
Remotely?
Using this method, it wouldn't matter where Mr. Rettens was at the time of death.
Can I put forward an objection, please? Wouldn't, that then implicate whoever was operating the stage?
I was just thinking that too.
Like, the same way Trucy, it would be Trucy's fault if the swords were switched.
But how exactly does it work, Mr. Justice?
Whoa, 3D.
What?
Just before the murder occurred, the dragon set piece was up on the catwalk. It and Mr. Man of Mystery were connected to each other by a wire at the time. By carrying out the prank plan, Betty made the dragon set piece fall, which caused Mr. Mystery to rocket straight up. And into the blade in the cushion.
So technically, Betty's the murderer.
Betty's going to jail.
By the logic of the court.
Mm-hmm. The cushion was high up enough to be hidden from the audience's view. That's why nobody saw the blade.
Oh! Then that big gash in Mr. Hat's cape.
The blade must have been set up overhead sometime before the magic show. Mr. Hat must have been slashed by it too, when he was pulled up to the cushion.
I can't believe it. I had no idea. I was told that Trucy would freak out if I made that set piece fall. That's the only reason I did it.
You were used, Betty. Roger Rettens used you.
I thought he was my little puppet to boss around. But I was the other way around.
After the incident occurred, Mr. Rettens arrived at the theater. He got the murder weapon and swapped the rubber sword with the bloodied steel one. That's also when he lowered the victim's body down to the stage.
But how did he have time to do it all?
When the set piece fell, the audience was evacuated from the building. He was able to do all those things after the fact, because there was no one to see.
A horrific murder, camouflaged by a spectacular magic show? That sounds like the kind of murder only a magician could pull off.
As long as the show proceeded as it was scripted, Mr. Mystery was doomed to die. That's why it was you, Mr. Rettens, who killed the victim. All the way from the TV station. This prank plan, or should I say murder plan, proves your murderous intent.
Marie! Time to cast a spell. Yep, me too.
Enough. You dim-witted, ignorant, imbecilic, putrid red pepper. He can't possibly have a counter-argument to make. Talk about not knowing when to let it go and move on. Do you have a rebuttal or something, Prosecutor Sadmati? No blade of any kind was found on the catwalk.
He took it. We said he took it.
Which means you have no evidence to support your theory. Evidence is everything in court. But Mr. Rettens retrieved it after the fact. Is he going to transmute one for us?
Mm-hmm.
Which still leaves you with no way to prove your wildly fantastic remote murder theory. But without proof, does it not make more sense to believe that the murder was committed there on the stage?
No.
That's where the bloodstained sword was found, after all.
That is a very good point.
As the only person who could have committed the crime there on that stage, Trucy Wright remains the prime suspect. It would appear that what you call truth is little more than a cheap parlor trick. In the end, you have done nothing to prove the accused's innocence. It is time at last to let it go and move on. How many times is he gonna say that? Ugh.
Lots of times. Are you seeing this, Magnifigrammary? My magic is exacting punishment on your grand... Is no one hearing this? Is no one fucking paying attention? The Grammary name is done for.
It's not suspicious.
Apollo? He's literally admitting guilt right in front of the whole court. We need to fill them. Hit them with a decisive piece of evidence here.
I know. That's just what I was thinking.
Mr. Justice, do you or don't you have anything to prove that the witness committed the remote murder you proposed?
Of course I do, Your Honor.
Yup. This entire incident was carried out exactly according to the script.
Right. So theoretically, there should be no evidence for us to find or use. Which means our best bet is to see if something unscripted happened. There's gotta be something Rettens couldn't have foreseen. And once I find it, that's how I'll be able to expose his murderous trick. Get ready, Mr. Rettens, because I'm about to reveal the secret to your magic. There are no tricks or gimmicks here, just some good old-fashioned logic. Oh, this part is cool. They do this in Dual Destinies. As long as the magic show went as scripted, the murder would happen without fail. Everything in this case was carefully planned out, so that no evidence would be left behind. Still, One thing happened that definitely wasn't in the plan. What part of the magic show wasn't a part of the show's original script? So, Bonnie's mistake.
Yeah, it was Bonnie's mistake. Light warp speed! Bonnie made a mistake.
Bonnie made a mistake during Trucy's escape trick. What mistake did Bonnie make during the magic trick? Just in case you forgot. Her life choice! I gotta pick that. No. I should never say a person's life choices are a mistake. I'm sure she can be a great magician someday if she works hard at it. Good luck, Bonnie. Anyway, get back to the case.
This fucking game.
What was it that Bonnie did? So it was
Mr. Hat's
Hat.
position.
This feels like that one Jackbox game.
Yeah, he totally does.
Because Bonnie placed Mr. Hat at the right of the coffin instead of to the left, Trucy had to reappear on the side of the coffin was opposite to the one in the show's script. But the culprit didn't know that when he first arrived at the theater, which means he was bound to make a slip-up when he tampered with the crime scene. Which part of the culprit's cover-up attempt was affected by Trucy's new position? Blood in the coffin, fingerprints, or the show footage?
I guess the edited show footage?
No.
Why are there fingerprints on the coffin, though?
The only thing with the fingerprints that I can think of is that one thing where, like, the guy inside, his handprints were weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was because of Mr. Hat. The blood in the coffin hole I can only think because it was on the wrong side. But I don't remember if it was on the wrong side. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
Well, there's no penalty here, so... What do you think?
I don't know. I guess the blood in the coffin hole makes the most sense to me.
Guess I was right. It was on the wrong side of the coffin. No one noticed that before? Thinking Trucy had appeared on the left, the culprit must have put the blood on the left hole. But the blood was eventually discovered in the right hole during the police investigation. If the killer had originally put the blood on the left side, that means he must have tampered with the scene again afterwards to make it line up with the facts. To make the crime scene consistent with the facts, the culprit must have dropped the set piece, swapped the coffin size, or wiped off the finger. Oh! Okay. So, he put the blood in before, but then it got swapped.
Right.
So he had to replace
You had to swap the coffin size.
this coffin size, and that's why the fingerprints were, like, the wrong position.
Right.
Got it. The culprit swapped the coffin sides. That's right. The left and right panels of the coffin are interchangeable. The culprit must have switched the two panels to make the bloodstain fit the facts. But the switch might have also given rise to something unnatural. Oh, I remember now. There was something unnatural about the coffin. It's just the evidence I need. Sorry, Mr. Reddens, but I have some very conclusive proof to your guilt.
Another bluff, is it? There's no way you have anything of that kind. My magic is real. It's real!
No, there are tricks and gimmicks to it, just like any other illusion.
What?
Turn in your wand.
No, my wand.
After the murder, you switched the left and right panels of the coffin, didn't you?
I wanted to be a Gryffindor. I mean, a Grammary.
And because you did, you left behind something very unnatural for us to find.
Okay, so I pooped in the coffin, no big deal.
We're gonna show our evidence right after a quick break.